Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and let me start by wishing all of you a very, very happy Diwali. For Delhi, it's a particularly good evening. The city's toxic air, it seems, reached the gods, and they decided to have some mercy for people who live in the capital. The city's pollution levels have fallen after rains through the day today in the NCR region. The air quality that has been hazardous through the week now is bearable, and it is no thanks to the Delhi government. Citizens know that, and the Supreme Court is saying it as strongly as possible. Listen in to what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court, which seems is as fed up with the Delhi government's mindless and therefore completely flop approach towards tackling pollution, has said this today. They say, God may have heard our prayers and intervened. It is no thanks to the government. The criticism did not stop there, and it was not just the Delhi government that was at the receiving end. The Supreme Court said, we cannot let people die. In fact, the judges have also said that the onus cannot be put on the courts, that the Delhi government and neighboring states and the centre have to take appropriate steps to curb pollution. The Supreme Court also pointed out that action is taken only after the court is forced to intervene. They said, things speed up only when we intervene. The court was very clear. Once again, they said, stubble burning has to end, even if someone has to walk over coal. And I'm quoting the Supreme Court here. Despite such stinging criticism, ladies and gentlemen, the Delhi government seems to have learned absolutely no lessons. Today, they came ready to court to defend their band-aid scheme, which we know as odd and even. It cited studies and told the court that odd and even is actually a good thing because it reduces pollution by 13%. The court wasn't convinced, and by the end of it, the Delhi government has put the scheme on hold. It was to come in play post-Diwali, which is on the 13th. Now it is on hold, and the Delhi government says they will first see what the air is like post-Diwali before deciding whether to go ahead with it or not. Listen in to what Gopal Rai said.
रात से मौसम में जो परिवर्तन हुआ है बारिश के कारण, हवा की गति बढ़ने के कारण लगातार प्रदूषण के स्तर में सुधार देखा जा रहा है और इसमें और सुधार की स्थिति देखी जा रही है। इसको देखते हुए अभी सरकार ने निर्णय लिया है कि 13 तारीख से 20 तारीख तक का ऑड इवन दिल्ली में लागू करने का जो फैसला था उसे पोस्टपोन किया जा रहा है।
My guest this evening, Neoma Gupta is spokesperson of the BJP, joining us on the broadcast. Jayadhar Gupta is member Right to Breathe. Ravi Srivastava is a political analyst, and Sanjay Upadhyay is an advocate at the Supreme Court, someone who's been closely involved in all hearings when it comes to all matters pollution. Thank you everyone for joining us. Ravi Srivastava ji, today is Dhanteras. God has been kind to the capital. It has been raining, pollution levels are bearable, and it is no thanks to the government of Delhi. We know this. But Ravi ji, there is a shabd called besharmi. 6 saal se, for the last 6 years, the Supreme Court has been on the Delhi government's case to implement some long-term measures to improve Delhi's air quality. If Beijing can do it, certainly Delhi can do it. But besharmi itni hai that band-aid headline measures, so the Delhi government is very good at declaring. Smog tar laga denge, no impact. Odd and even kar denge, no impact. Biodecomposer kar denge, we don't know where it is. So these how else should people in Delhi react to what the Supreme Court has said? Except to say, itne besharam hai, ye abhi bhi nahi sunenge.
Good evening, Shreya, and best wishes to you for Dhanteras and Diwali. You have used very harsh words, I would say. And Honorable Supreme Court has also made certain observations which are definitely should be honored, should be followed. You said that Delhi government is besharam, shameless, have not done anything. I would just like to add that Delhi government has done lot of measures in last 6 years. It is Delhi government only which has improved its green cover. It is Delhi government only which has brought 1,000 electric vehicles are there out of 7,000 fleet. It is Delhi government only which is doing the mechanized cleaning. It is Delhi government only which had put up the smog towers. You rightly said it. Certain measures have worked, certain have not. And as far as parali burning, stubble burning in Punjab is concerned, yes, party has to do a little more. It has already taken care. And more, I think, if the several statistics are there, Punjab government says that it is parali is burning is 50% less than last year. And in last 2 days, from Wednesday it was 2,000 incidents, and yesterday it was 639. Honorable Supreme Court has made very strong observations. They have said even the SHOs should be responsible. But it's a politically sensitive subject. Supreme Court has also said that you can go to the, I mean, it is up to you. You use the carrot and stick. You go for stopping their MSP. You go on, not giving them a subsidy. You can go, a lot of measures they have suggested. And as far as the odd even is concerned, it was all in the interest of the Delhi people. Now, even now, Supreme Court has not said you don't do it. Even 13% is a good enough of a relief.
Absolutely.
If the AQI goes up to 500 or 600. So it is worth it. Now, post Diwali, the crackers have been banned across the country. I think that order is known to practically everyone. And center and the states all have been told to work together. If it is a highway that is to be diverted outside the peripheral road, the UP and Haryana also have to work on it. It is not only Delhi government will do it. The Delhi government ministers were on the road yesterday, last night.
I am just taking from what you're saying. Okay, yeah. I'm going to take from what you're saying. You're saying that the Supreme Court hasn't said don't do odd even. They have left it to the Delhi government. Do you know what the Supreme Court has said, Raviji? The Supreme Court has said very clearly, they have said odd and even is optics. Today, yes, the Delhi government came with certain facts and studies and said, nahi, 13% reduce hota. The Supreme Court wasn't concerned, wasn't convinced. The Supreme Court said, jo karna hai karo. But we want results on the ground because those results don't show. Sanjay Upadhyay ji, no, let me get in advocates. Sanjay Upadhyay, give me a minute. Sanjay Upadhyay ji, Ms. Ravi Srivastava is arguing, and many people in Delhi can also argue, especially the ones who support the Aam Aadmi Party, and say, look, desperate times call for desperate measures. These are desperate times when your AQI is touching 500, where your children cannot breathe and have to leave the city. We have to do something. Every drop counts. 13% to kam hua na. Why not implement it?
I think the Supreme Court was fairly clear that the measures that have been taken so far in all the pomp and show that is being spoken hasn't really borne the results that we are all seeing. And it's really the rain god and the wind god is whom we are really turning to with prayers. I mean, that was almost like an apathy from the Supreme Court in many ways, the way they were commenting on today's proceedings. But what is important to our understanding is that there have been orders and slew of measures dictated by the courts, by the National Green Tribunal, by the Supreme Court over the last 5 or 6 years. The problem is that we don't take those suggestions and those orders seriously. I mean, I've been saying this, that we don't even talk about capping policy. We don't even talk about scrapping policy. We don't talk about aligning our roads properly. We don't talk about removing our congestions properly, because everywhere there's some politics that comes in. And I think that's the kind of helplessness that was being heard today. Today, the Supreme Court talked about use of technology. For example, the Parali issue. It's very well known, like the forest fires. You can actually look at these fires on the farm and take help in a coordinated fashion. But those things are not happening. The day after the last days of the hearing, the Parali burning actually increased. It's only now that there's some reduction. So, this is not one, quick fix measure. It has to be a very, very serious sort of effort that needs to be looked at from subsidies on happy seeders and super seeders to the manner you're monitoring the whole farm fire. And there's a huge percentage that is impacting Delhi and the NCR. I think we need to be much, much more serious. And that's what the Supreme Court said today, that, we are not interested in statistics, 5% here or 2% here. You do an odd and even and then exempt 100 things. it doesn't make any difference on the ground. And that's what the concern was. And we need to be serious about that.
Neoma Gupta, the person representing the Aam Aadmi Party and its view on the show, because as you know, the Aam Aadmi Party doesn't send a representative to mirror now, is saying that, look, Parali is a politically sensitive issue. And there are concerns of farmers that you need to take into account as well. Today, the Punjab government has come and told court that there is a way out. The way out is that we provide free equipment to farmers to take care of Parali. 25%, 25% Delhi government will pay for, 25% Punjab government will pay for. In this case, the dispensation is the same, the Aam Aadmi Party. Let the central government pay 50%, the rest 50%, and we'll be able to take care of this problem. The central government hasn't committed to it.
So, Shreya ma'am, first of all, happy Dhanteras to you as well. And the frustration of the Supreme Court is the frustration of any Delhiite sitting and battling to breathe. So I do, seeing in that light, have to give certain facts to you, which are very prominent for you to know. The crop residue management machine, which is a process, which is a machine which sort of helps in the whole stubble burning in a more eco-friendly manner. Funds have been deployed to the state. In fact, recently in 2022, about 270 crores were deployed and a lot of crop residue management machines were given. I don't know why they're not in effect and why they have not been deployed to the farmers. If they have been deployed by the state government, I would like the data from them on that account. Secondly, the other part which fell from the Supreme Court today was an alternative of crops, which I mentioned in your last debate about Bajra. Bajra is being promoted. It is being promoted state-wise. In fact, in G20, if you recollect, it was one of the most prominent features which was being projected as an export product. All the states are willing to comply with it. All states have been educated that this is a good proposal to reduce the paddy fields vis-a-vis the states. Thirdly, if you see Haryana, UP, heavy amount of challans, etc. are being. Do you want to make a point?
Yeah, I want to make a point, but I want you to finish what you're saying.
Okay. UP, Haryana are imposing heavy sort of challans on the farmers who are doing it. In fact, today, Haryana, in their affidavit, has said that they're going to comply to a reasonable extent. The government being a center and the state government, pollution is a state subject. The government is constantly giving guidelines. The government is giving finances to help them out to see the other options for Parali. But I keep time and time saying again, it is up to the state government to be receptive to it or resist it. Secondly, if somebody turns around and says that 90% is coming from a certain state, it's not a problem. It's an emergency situation. Why aren't you sitting down with your local farmers, sensitizing them, educating them constantly on the subject? Because the farmers are even suffering being on the ground and doing the process. So they have to be educated on that.
Okay, I'll say two things.
There is immense data available for future steps and long-term steps, whether it comes to the apportionment study or any sort of things which have been done by the center.
I think that's the problem.
Incorporated.
That's where the problem is. That we look at band-aid steps when the air emergency is at a peak. And then we forget for the rest of the year. We say, chodo, long-term measure, kya karna hai? You know, to get better public transport. That's a long-term measure. Will take a long time. Forget it. Let's just quickly do odd and even. So there is a problem there. But Neoma Gupta, I have to make 2 points. Sabse pehle, it's very easy for us to here sit in studios and say farmers in Punjab should start growing alternate crops like bajra, like millets. Fact is, ask a farmer and he'll tell you that, ma'am, मैं चावल छोड़ के millet तो उगा लूंगा. Who will buy it? There are no buyers for millet in this country. So there are issues that the farmer is dealing with. There are issues that farmers are dealing with as well, and we need to make them stakeholders. We tend to make them the villains of the piece. Maybe they aren't. Jayadhar Gupta, can I just get in Jayadhar Gupta? Jayadhar Gupta, every time I hear the court, every time I hear arguments in court, to me, it's like passing the parcel. We used to play passing the parcel when we were kids, especially at birthday parties. This is the pollution party and everyone is playing passing the parcel. So accountability kahin fix nahi hoti hai. The Supreme Court keeps saying for the last 6 years, the Supreme Court has been saying multiple things. The Delhi government is on its own track. The BJP will say, hum kya kare, ye to state ka subject hai, what can we do? I mean, can a central government get away by saying something like that? You're the central government. Where is the environment minister of this country? He has no business being in Madhya Pradesh. He should be in Delhi, trying to do something about the air the city is breathing. This city is India's face to the world. When it's polluted to the level it is, it brings global shame.
Absolutely, Shreya. I mean, this is shameful. I hope the vote bank of this country is watching that because it's not an international public health emergency, it's a regional public health emergency, there's no accountability. There's nobody taking the lead on this. There's no Dr. Guleria. There's no health minister. There's no environment minister. Everybody has other priorities. While we're talking about 50 to 60 crore people that are suffering and are in a crisis. Shreya, I want to make a few points. It's clear that in Delhi, we are losing the battle, okay? I have been watching this for 10 years. I've been personally dialed in since 2013, since I was diagnosed with bronchial asthma from living and breathing in Delhi's air. And every year, we seem to be losing more ground. We're not overcoming this, we're losing more ground. We're getting further behind. The problem is that, you know, when the Delhi government does anything or says anything, it tells me they have no understanding of the subject. So number one, when you come out with a winter action plan, that to me is ludicrous because this is a 365-day problem. Why do you only have a plan for winter? I don't understand that. You don't have a single day out of 365 days where you have good air, but you have only a winter action plan. That makes no sense. What Gopal Rai said right now, that because of the winds and the rain, things have gotten cleaned up. So, you know, everything is fine, everything is taken care of. That tells me that he has no understanding of this problem. Because I can guarantee you that Monday morning we are going to burn, and not only us, the entire Indo-Gangetic plain. Delhi will be the worst because of topography. After moisture, you have the maximum amount of smoke because all that waste, all that biomass, all that crop residue from Punjab, everything that's going to burn come Sunday night, and including the fireworks of Sunday night from Diwali, because the Bhaks are still going to, you know, light up whatever they can to make a point in Delhi, in spite of the, Supreme Court order. We are going to burn on Sunday night, and Monday, Tuesday are going to be absolutely horrible. So when Mr. Gopal Rai says that, oh, everything is taken care of, it's more of the same. It's like, you know, in public health emergency, you hope for the best and plan for the worst. The Delhi government is always planning for the best. We're going to fail every time. And we're going to keep getting behind this each and every time. I see no way out with this leadership. Both state and center, I'm sorry, because nobody's wanted to get involved with this subject. Everybody is doing the optics, is doing the blame game, kicking the ball around. The CEO of this city, apparently Mr. Kejriwal, keeps failing. The judiciary keeps kicking the ball around. Stalemate. It's going to be, we're going to pass this episode. So this 365-day problem, we're in an episode right now of this Parali burning. This will pass. Another 10 days and this will pass. Delhi, the Diwali is a spike. That will pass. Then we will go into this, hazardous level of 300, 350 till about the end of April and just rot in that. The question really is the health cost of being in Delhi now greater than the economic benefit? I think that's the question. Is it worth it to live in this national capital we call Delhi? I don't think so. It's not worth it anymore. And I'm speaking to more and more poor people, and I'm hearing the same answer, that it's much better in the village.
75% of families in Delhi NCR will have people sick right now. Today, the air quality is a little better, thanks to the rains. But 75% families in this city will have someone or the other who's been sick because of the bad air. Raviji, should we just resign ourselves to our fate and say, ab sab kuch Bhagwan Bharose hai, barish kar di to great, otherwise sarkar se to kuch hona nahi. Again, the fact is that people see through these things, right? People see through the fact that you have spent 25 crores per smog tower, which doesn't work. which is counterproductive, which is a waste of the taxpayers' money. Everyone now knows this. There are studies on it, there are statistics on it. Everyone knows that odd and even, when it comes to odd and even, it's more inconvenience and less actually impact on Delhi's pollution levels. We all know that. Now, people are aware because it's been happening with us for the last 6 years, which is why I say, ye besharmi hi hai, that you're seeing what is happening, you see what happens every year, and yet there are no long-term measures that will actually help fix the problem. All we have is band-aid measures.
Shreya, first of all, my past panelist who spoke about his ill health and all, I wish him a speedy recovery and he should get out of his health issues. What you said is that nothing is happening.
Raviji, then you should wish get well soon to 75% of Delhi then. आप अभी से कर दीजिए, लेकिन उससे कुछ होगा नहीं ना. We don't need get well soon wishes. We don't need get well soon wishes. We need better air that doesn't make us sick.
I'm not running away. I'm with you and I'll continue to speak. The point here is that you said nothing is happening. Just I want to say that this is a half glass full and half glass empty kind of a situation. It's not like that. The biodecomposer has been put on 2,000 acres of the land, and the target is to put it on 5,000 acres of the land. They are going to convert the industries to CNG and the vehicles to electric vehicles so that the pollution reduces. 6 years before, you had 106 good AQI days in Delhi. Today, you have got 209 good AQI days in Delhi. The friend said there is no plan. There was a summer action plan as well. There is a winter action plan. Now, GRAP 4 is in vogue at the moment, which is going on. The government has got the earnest intention. And as far as Supreme Court is concerned, I want to tell the learned advocate sitting over here that, sir, observations are respected. Observation and comments are respected. But you should also know that the judgments are radically different.
Raviji.
We have seen it. We have seen it.
Raviji, I will say one thing.
I honor it.
I will let Sanjay ji respond to you. I'll give him 20 seconds. But let me tell you, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and that is the case with Delhi government as well. Intentions बड़े अच्छे हैं, काम कुछ नहीं होता, and it leads us to hell every winter. Sanjay Upadhyay, since the comment came for you, I can give you 20 seconds to respond.
I won't respond. I will only say one thing, that when we have something called the Air Act of 1981, we are sitting in 2023. There are very important concepts like air pollution control area. How do you deal with an air pollution control area? There are powers to make rules by the state government and actually show some seriousness. And this is for both center and the state. We are still doing quick fix measures like CAQM. We are still doing, give a little subsidy here and a subsidy there. The hard decisions are not being taken. And any amount of, conversations or, these kind of snide remarks is not going to help the people of Delhi. And unless we are serious about implementing what we have as a framework and revisiting those frameworks, we are going to be talking about this every October, every November, every December. So it's time to take some real action on the ground.
Sure. And speaking of the Air Act, I don't know how many people know that there is an Air Act that exists in this country. And I really want to know if there's been a single arrest under that Air Act for violating norms. 0. That's the level of seriousness. We leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much, Sanjay Upadhyay, for joining us.
Let's just have one second,
trying to defend the indefensible. Okay. Yeah, Neoma, go ahead. 20 seconds, go ahead. Not one, I'll give you 20. It's Dhanteras.
Okay, thanks a lot. So just to tell you, the central government was the one who introduced GRAP 4, and it was up to the state government to implement it correctly. So, before my statement is again transformed into something which it's not meant to be, please understand the central government is fully sensitive to this topic, and we are doing everything in our capacity to help the citizens of Delhi. And
Neoma,
please take this not with a pinch of salt, but with the factual data I'm presenting to you. Thank you so much.
I'm taking it with a glass full of salt because I've not heard from my environment minister. And I see Delhi's air quality go to a level where the contraption that measures it, where the contraption that measures it simply cannot measure beyond that. So that's what I'm looking at. We leave it there for the moment. Thank you, Neoma Gupta, for joining us. Jaydar Gupta, thank you very much. Ravi Srivastav, thanks very much. And Sanjay Upadhyay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of you, especially for joining us on what is a festival day. Thank you very much indeed. Speaking of the festival, today is Dhanteras. So let's quickly get you some pictures that we are getting to you from across the country. These pictures that you see will tell you that people are out in droves, despite the weather here in Delhi, out in droves to buy some gold jewelry. It's considered auspicious to buy gold jewelry today since it is Dhanteras. So officially with Dhanteras begins Diwali festivities.